I thought practice yesterday was great. Still a lot of work to do, of course, as we progress and move towards Sunday's game against Detroit. Good football team, extremely well coached. Offensive coordinator is very creative in the way he moves the ball around and try to get it to the talent that they have on that team. Speaking of the talent, I think everything starts up front. Offensive line is doing a tremendous job. I know one of the guards are out this week, but that's not going to really matter. They do a great job running the ball. I think Montgomery and Gibbs, 1-2 combination is probably the best we've seen all year. Different style of runners, but they're both are effective in what they do. Everything goes through Goff. I think he does a tremendous job in really, putting the ball where it needs to be. We got to do a great job of really trying to take away this run game to limit the vertical passing game down the field. St. Brown is playing at a high level. You got Reynolds, you got Williams. They got so many weapons, and they talked about Laporta had a hyperextended knee. I don't see it on tape, so he's getting in and out of his breaks. He's catching the ball and getting vertical up the field. So it's going to be a difficult task for us, but we're definitely going to be up for it. And with that, I'll take your question.
As far as the run defense, how did Chase Young do in that Cleveland Farrell role on Saturday?
I think Chase did some good things on Saturday. We all need to improve. So definitely some improvement that needs to be made across the board. But I thought he stepped in and did well. Did some good things in the run game. We didn't have any sacks, but I thought he was very effective in trying to, rush the passer, put some pressure on the quarterback. So I was pleased.
How explosive is that yesterday? You felt like one of the emphasis of this week, they're doing better containing the edges. What did you see that maybe wasn't going as well as you wanted?
It's not so much. Well, let me say this. Yeah, we got to do a much better job containing the edges. And it's not really the defensive ends. It's the second level. We're getting too wide where we got to get vertical. And that's the key thing. We had a point of emphasis with that as we watched tape this week. And most importantly, the same thing in practice yesterday. And really work on perimeter run game and doing the things we got to do to make sure we set edges on the defense.
How explosive is Jahmyr Gibbs, and what's the key to containing him?
I don't know if you can contain him. We got to do a great job swarming the ball. And he's phenomenal. He's 4.3 on paper. He's 4.3 on tape. He plays to that speed. Again, they do a great job getting him out in space, trying to create one-on-ones with the backers. Great job on third down. And, he can run in between the tackles, and he's most explosive in taking the ball outside. So definitely someone we got to definitely rally to. And as I said before, to the defense, we got to swarm tackle this Sunday in order to stop this run game.
Steve Ryan struggled against the run. It looked like on a couple plays, the Jones run, he barely got a hand on him. Are we going to see more Jair Brown this week at safety, or are you going to stay with Ryan?
I would say overall we all got to improve on the run. I know we point out Logan. He got to improve on his tackling, as we know. He's going to get better with that. Jair still in the mix. We'll see exactly how it goes this week and exactly how much he's going to play, if he will play, if he will start or whatnot. We don't know. That's still an ongoing process right now.
Steve, yesterday Andrew Thomas said that his play was probably part of not getting enough reps, being out with his hand injury. How confident are you going forward with him?
Very confident. He didn't have his best game, as we all saw. He's pretty resilient in his demeanor, and I know he's going to bounce back strong. Again, we got to be able to get over the mindset of his wrist, and he got to go out there and play. But I'm very confident he's going to go back out there and respond this week.
Steve, you mentioned the 0 sacks. What was your assessment of just the overall pass rush pressure? How you affected Love?
I thought we affected the passer. We didn't have the results we wanted from a standpoint of sacks. If you look at it, he got rid of the ball quickly in their quick game. He does a great job of really hitting that back foot. I'm talking Love now, and just getting rid of the ball. Golf does the same thing. So we got to do a good job really getting our hands up when we can't get there, and we got to find different ways to get to him, which we will.
How has the loss of Talanoa Hufanga impacted the defense or changed what you've been able to do the last few months?
All-pro player. I mean, a guy that's a leader of this team, not just a secondary. So he's definitely missed. And you're going to see a little bit of that, particularly when, you know, you don't have the performance in the play that you want, as you guys mentioned on a couple of plays. So you're going to reference Huff. But, you know, we miss him. He's not here. Other guys got to step up.
Coach, as you reflect over the past year since your first conversations with this team, what would you say with your relationship with Coach Shanahan that you've learned from him, and what do you think he's learned from you?
I can't tell you what he's learned from me. You have to ask him that question, but I learned a lot from him. Just he does a great job in really painting a picture at the beginning of the week and what it needs to look like with the team, and create a summary on Friday going around the league in certain we call situational football, and just making the guys high aware of certain things that have gone on and things that we need to be prepared for. And then he wraps it up Saturday night before the game. So I think he's on point. He has a great pulse of the team. I think his messages are on point and things that he talks about. The structure of practice, whether we need to cut, you know, reps, take the pads off, keep the pads on. All those things I think he just learned from, you know, previous experience. He's been around his whole life with his dad. So a lot of things I've learned from him.
With Deontay Lenore, what strikes you about his confidence this relatively early in his career and his ability to improve week after week?
Just that, man. He's just a confident individual. And I think it just goes with preparation. I think he has put a lot of time and effort into his craft this offseason. You can see his technique has improved, which allows him to be able to go out and perform at a high level. We have a lot of confidence in him. That's the reason why, you know, we can move him around and do things that we do with him.
What is the biggest challenge that their pass block creates, and just how confident are you to beat them there quarterback this week?
I think it's not so much their protection. I think it's really their run game, which in terms affects their protection. So when their run game is going, it allows them to be able to slow us down a little bit with the play action. So we got to do a great job, as I stated before, in really trying to stop and take this run game away and make these guys one-dimensional. And that's still not going to be an easy task because Goff is a real good quarterback.
What's the biggest challenge of the kind of report? You're going to see what the tight ends always come in with the pressure of that.
I think it creates, you know, different issues. I don't want to say problems, but different issues. They put him out at number one like a receiver, you know, overload the front side. We call it triples, put all the receivers there, and he's very, very effective backside. They put him in a slot. They put him in 3 on what we call race routes, you know. So they get the ball to him in different variations, and with him and St. Brown, it's definitely a difficult task. And
Steve,
as I stated before, Williams can take the top off at any time.
Steve, what does Womack need to do to get back on the field? You're not using him right now. He was inactive last week. He's got a lot of talent. What does he need to do?
You know, everybody got to improve. I'm not trying to diminish your question right here, but my focus is more broad on really the whole defense as a whole. You know, you just got to continue to keep working, you know, and the opportunity to come, whether it's special teams or whether it's defense. But, you know, the 11 guys that are going to be out there, they got to step up and perform this week.
Coach, you talked about the play action game. They threw the second most passes off play action, gained the most yards of that action. What makes it so efficient from their perspective?
Again, I think it's just the 2 dynamic running backs that they have. You know, you put a lot of emphasis on trying to stop those guys. So sometimes you get a little bit more aggressive getting downhill. That's not only with the linebackers, but also in the secondary, which now exposes you to, you know, vertical passing game over the top. So that's something that we're going to have to try to diminish. And how you do that is trying to make them one-dimensional.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for practice.
Yes,
Is that what they're doing?
well,